Yo, what's happening, people, and welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs on the way.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, we're a bit short on time today, but we're still making sure we get the episode out.
Yeah.
So some of the games we might not be able to talk that long on for, might just have to skip over them, but obviously some of them will still break down. And again, Michael, we spoke a bit about FPL last week, and the wild card's still struggling.
The wild card, it's not even, it's still unlucky because, as I told you last week, I played my wild card. My previous team does better than my wild card team, but I think, you know what, you got to move forward. It's all about longevity now. Botman gets injured, Trossard is out, Saka's question marks, Gusto gets a red card last week.
I looked at your team and the injury issues, it was just a bit unlucky. It's just unlucky.
You know what I've realized, what I've deeped about my FPL really is like, you're up maybe late night, early morning, wherever it is, and like it's always between one or two players. Like, is it this guy? Is it that guy that I should bring in? Like last week, it was like Botman or Dan Burn. I knew Newcastle were keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah,
but I bring in Botman because I thought Botman never misses a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
scored last week.
You know, Dan Burn scored first, and I was like,
yeah.
But then Botman scored. I thought, you know what, that's all right. But here you have it. Botman gets injured instead of Dan Burn.
Another clean sheet.
And then this week, still, I was thinking, should I bring in Dan Burn to partner with Botman? Because I thought maybe Botman would still play. I had to get, who was it that was, I had to get Reguilon out because he was injured as well.
That's another unlucky one.
I had three players in mind. I had Colwill, I had Dan Burn, and I had, and then I had Tarkovsky. Yeah, and I was looking at all the results.
I don't know about the Tarkovsky pick.
But you know what it was? I was like,
the fixtures.
Because it wasn't just the fixtures. Yes, fixtures played a big part of it. Two easy home games. Not easy home games, but two home games. And I thought Everton have won their previous two games.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I know Sean Dyche, he's drilling into these guys. 2 clean sheets, regardless of the results.
Yeah.
2 clean sheets.
Luton at home.
And we'll be great. We'll be in a very good position.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's what I was banking on. I was banking on knowing Sean Dyche to tell his team.
You went for Pickford as well, yeah?
I see now. Yeah, I went for Pickford as well the other week. And my life depended on Everton clean sheet. And it wasn't even just so much I was backing Everton to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, I was convincing myself, I know Sean Dyche, surely he's drilling in. I know Tarkovsky, surely he's drilling in a clean sheet to the boys. But I was also looking at Luton thinking, who's going to score for Luton?
Yeah.
I was banking on just as much as I was banking on Everton being, on the up. I was also banking on Luton just being god awful.
Yeah.
And not having a goal scorer. I was like, who is it going to be?
Yeah.
So for Everton to be 2-0 down after 20 minutes.
And on the flip side of that, the FPL community were looking at the Luton double game week.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, Carlton Morris?
That's the thing.
Could it be?
That's the thing.
He's outscored Erling Haaland and he's got another game to play.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. What I've realized about my FPL is like these small decisions that I've got wrong.
Yeah.
I've got horribly wrong. Watkins. Just 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Just like
you had Watkins.
I had Watkins in my previous team before the wild card.
Yeah, and then
switched him out for Jesus. Jesus is now playing out wide.
Yeah.
Not playing down the middle. Trossard gets injured. You know, all of this. So now it's like I want to switch it up all over again. But now I'm like, no.
I have no wild card.
I have no wild card 1, and I just have to show these guys a little bit of faith.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, international break next week. Some of your players should be back fit.
Yeah.
Or did you bring in Anthony Gordon? Because he got suspended.
That was who I wanted to bring in.
Okay.
Last week, I wasn't going to touch my defense. I thought Reguilon, there's no left back. He's back. He's
the emergency left back.
Yeah. And I was going to bring in Anthony Gordon, cheap, guaranteed start. Harvey Barnes is out type of stuff. And
but yeah, I think on my team, Odegaard came through for me
big time.
Decore picked up an assist.
I can't believe back-to-back Decore
picking up points. My team did all right this week. But like you say, on when you're up late thinking, is it this guy or is it this guy? I knew I had to take Chilwell out, and it was either Matty Cash, Diogo Dalot, or Pedro Porro. And Pedro Porro picked up that assist for their goal. Matty Cash picked up an assist, but I went Diogo Dalot because we sat here last week and spoke about Man United's next 2 fixtures, Palace at home, Brentford at home, and we said we expect them to take 6 points.
Yeah.
And you know what? Talking about Man United, we may as well start there.
As well get in there.
Pause. Because I mean, like I said, we thought they'd take 6 from 6. They beat Palace midweek. I was hearing stuff about the revelation that is Amrabat. Can he be the left back answer?
See what Steve Bruce was saying midweek. Oh, there's a player there.
Yeah. And
I like him.
It was a big welcome to the Prem when you go from Raksaki to Jordan Ayew, a Prem veteran.
See what I'm saying?
He's gonna win fouls.
Mister just gets there first.
He's gonna bully you. He's gonna get onto you. Yeah. But yeah, Crystal Palace went to Old Trafford. They won 1-0. Roy Hodgson, was it a bit on Palace? Yeah. Roy Hodgson, was it unbeaten in five consecutive trips to Old Trafford?
Big ups to her. I love all of the discourse around Roy just because of how old he is, and like nobody really ever wants to put Roy down for his longevity in the game.
Yeah.
But
at 76 years old,
it's crazy
to be doing what he's doing. Shout out Roy Hodgson.
Shout out Roy
Massive
Hodgson.
respect to him.
Do you know what's funny about just quickly on Roy is like so many managers or so many teams have like managers are as big as your best player. You know, like Arsenal fans stand Arteta hard. You know, so on and so forth, and like. So many of these clubs have like a young guy who you put everything on, like, oh, he's changing the game.
Yeah.
It's like Crystal Palace don't even have that with Roy. They just have stability. Yeah. It's just like, you know what he's bringing. He's not really bringing new tactics. He's not really bringing, you know, like a press, a half, you know.
Yeah. He's going to bring a solid setup.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, rigid.
but what I have been impressed with Roy is that he's allowed, and I didn't think he used to play like this because, remember, like, when Roy Hodgson was at Palace before Patrick Vieira, it was just Wilfred Zaha and suffer ball.
Yeah.
Just suffer and then give it to Zaha, hope for something. This time he's come back and he's actually allowed his attacking players to go on, in like Eze, Elise, Edouard. He's allowed them to actually go and play. So fair play to him. They won 1-0. Clean sheet. Anderson with a great goal.
Great goal.
Yeah, great finish. I don't know, maybe should Onana do better?
I'm here to bash on Onana, I'm not gonna lie, but I do think on this one it's just one of those ones like the ball it travels so quickly,
and I don't think he's expecting it
when it comes with Anderson's feet. Yeah, it travels so quickly. I think he probably could do a little bit better, like an elite shot stopper gets there.
Yeah,
but I'm not here to hound him out and be like it's all on him.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy that Eze crosses the ball in and it just bounces across the 6-yard box.
Yeah,
and
Anderson's in so much.
Yeah, and it falls to Anderson. I think that is crazy. At home, as you say, you need a win. I think the stuff about United was nuts. And I said this, I think, last week or the week before. And I was like, when you start losing this many games early into the season, like, where do you end up? And that season for Arsenal, when we won 3, lost 3 for our first, like, opening 9 games or whatever. And it's like, when you lose 3 games before you get into October.
Yeah.
How many losses do you think you finished with? Yeah, like Man United haven't played City home and away yet, Liverpool home and away yet. Also, we haven't gone to their place, that kind of stuff. Newcastle home and away.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think where we were cutting them some grace was after 4 games they'd lost away to Arsenal, away to Tottenham, which but at this point now. They've played 7 league games. They've lost 4. Their worst ever Premier League start, which is another record for Erik ten Hag. Back-to-back losses at Old Trafford.
It's crazy.
They play Galatasaray tonight at Old Trafford. Wilfred Zaha coming back, but I think against when they played Brighton, we did a lot on Erik ten Hag and his tactics and how De Zerbi kind of showed him up. But I kind of wanted to focus on some of the players. And in particular, I've seen a lot of like Rashford discourse, a lot of Rashford comps on the timeline. And like we've had conversations about Rashford, and I think Rashford's a good player. I rate him quite highly,
rate him quite early.
But there's no doubt he's had a poor start to the season. Obviously, only scored 1 goal, but those compilations I'm seeing of Rashford dribbling into players and losing the ball, like that's nothing new for me.
Yeah,
like I know. Obviously, the last season, what Rashford was on, what he carried that team, but they were playing a lot in the transition and a lot of counter-attacking football against teams that were coming onto them. Against the low block, I don't think Rashford's ever been.
He's never been that guy. That's why he couldn't be a centre forward. He had Theo Walcott spell of. I think I'm a striker. No, not against the deep block. You're not.
Yeah, 100%. And he's never been that guy. Rashford is always best when he's picking up the ball when there's space to run into.
Yeah.
And that's not like something that I'm really kind of like leveling, because as I say, I still rate him. Like I don't think Martinelli or Saka are really like experts against a low block, but I think they play in a team
that knows what to do
exactly, that functions well and has guys like Jesus, Odegaard, Zinchenko, Partey, who can all kind of facilitate what they do. Don't get me wrong, they're better than Rashford against the low block, right? But I wouldn't class them. I think if Rashford played in the Arsenal team and he was coached by Mikel Arteta, I think he could put up good numbers.
My thing on the Rashford stuff is like I understand why United fans are getting onto him. You signed the big contract, you like cement yourself as star boy, main man of the club. Things are going bad. Who do we turn to?
That's that big contract hoodoo, man. Don't let it be that.
Yeah, don't let it be that,
man. You know?
But
not let it be that.
I hear it. You look towards your star man when times are tough because that's what we pay you the money for, you know. But I also do think with United fans, Rashford is always going to be an easy guy to get onto because of his style of football. He's not a deep block guy. He's always been the like head down dribble, trying to make something happen out of nothing. I akin it. I don't think they play alike, but I remember Alexis Sanchez used to do that a lot. It was like he's the guy who would more often than not score for us, but also probably give the ball away the most. And it's like you kind of have to live with that double-edged sword when you have those creative wingers who are always trying to do something. You know. So I hear it from United fans. When you're losing games, it looks terrible. It feels terrible. You look to your star man. He's lost the ball 11 times in the first half, whatever it is. But when things are going well, Rashford will be playing the same. We'll be playing
rash sanity.
when things are going well, Rashford will be playing the exact same. And instead of bobbling out for a corner, it bobbles into the front post.
Yeah, he gets a ricochet. Yeah, it comes back to him.
And I agree with your overall point about the rest of the team now. The problem is with Rashford is like, unless he scores 2 goals, gets an assist, United don't win a game.
Exactly. And this is my point as well. Something else I wanted to talk about is that a lot of what I've seen from Man United fans criticising Ten Hag for having favourites in the team and not dropping players based on their performances. But my question is, if you take Rashford out of that team,
or you put Garnacho in, or you put
whoever you put in, but if you just take Rashford out of that team, who really is the threat then?
Yeah,
like what does that Man United team look like if Ten Hag takes Rashford out?
I agree with that point, but this is the sticky point. I understand that Rashford has to be the guy for United moving forward, but I also understand the fans cry to like bench him for a game or just let him know, because what you don't want it to be is the contract hoodoo. Of like, he signed the big contract, therefore we can never drop him because we have to always find the reason to justify the money we're spending on him. But Rashford shouldn't feel as if I can stink up the gaff and walk into the team sheet week in, week out. But I agree with you. Like, who'd you bring in? I actually think Garnacho is proper nice.
But I like Garnacho as well.
I understand the argument of maybe he's not a 90-minute player. They've tried to start him for a couple of games. He's not looked that good. And also the thing about Garnacho is he plays a similar game, if not the same game to Rashford.
He's direct again. Right?
Direct, head down running. I'm trying to get to the byline, get the ball in, cut in, whip it type of stuff. And it's like, if you're calling for another type of winger, you know, you need to get the Antonys and you need to get the Sanchos and you need to get the the Greenwoods or whoever back. Well, you can't, but you know,
because against the low block, those kind of players, Antony or Sancho, are going to be maybe more effective than Rashford. And the other guy I wanted to talk about, because he's had a pretty bad start to the season, even Man United fans have said it, is Casemiro. And we know how good Casemiro
can be,
has been, can be, still probably is. But I just don't think the role that he's being asked to do as like players, this like the role that Thomas Partey was left in at Arsenal for a long time. And then once he learned it, he became our most important player. But Casemiro's at a point where I don't know if he has the facilities to play alone in midfield with that much space around him.
I agree with you on that. I think the problem Casemiro has, and I've obviously watched a lot of Casemiro. I've been a long time fan. I think that he's at his best when his job is really simple and then he has like free reins to do a bit more, in the sense of like, at Madrid, he wasn't asked to score goals. He wasn't asked to create. He was just asked to destroy
Yeah.
and be tidy.
Yeah.
Give it to Cruz, give it to Modric.
Yeah.
I think because of his stature, because of who he is, because of what he's won, because of what he's achieved, he's coming into the United team. He's capable of scoring goals.
Yeah.
And now it's like we kind of need this every week from Newcastle
Yeah.
type of thing. So he's gone from, all right, midfield destroyer, I'm going to hold it, to like, I need to be a midfield destroyer who also makes late runs into the box. And
he's gone from a very kind of specialized role to now.
And I think the Premier League is probably the worst league to broaden that role for a guy like Casemiro because he's not 25.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the legs
to run
up and down.
The acres of space to Casemiro's left and right.
Yeah,
like no player can really.
It's crazy.
Maybe Declan Rice, because he's got the power. Maybe even a Rodri. But
and he's just the Declan Rices and the Rodris. They've got the younger legs. After 60, 70 minutes, they can kind of still make those runs. Like, it looks like Casemiro after 60 minutes. It's like from trying to make that third late run into the box to then tracking all the way back. He's just done. Like, he just doesn't want it.
Amrabat, there was a moment where Amrabat got robbed by Ayew on the ball.
Yeah.
And Casemiro comes flying across with an awful challenge. He instantly picks up a booking.
His mentality is like, at this point, I need to stop the game. I need a breather. If Ayew gets on the turn, you know. So I think Ten Hag needs to just make it, making it sound simple for Casemiro, or make it simple for Casemiro sounds like he doesn't know how to play football, or like he can't do complex things on the pitch. He definitely can do all of those things. But if you want the best out of Casemiro, make him do what he's good at.
Yeah.
And then tell somebody else, tell Amrabat or, whoever else it would be, Mount or whatever, I need you to be the legs. I need you to be the third man runner. Casemiro will do this every once in a while. Yeah. He'll get into the box every once in a while. But I can't be looking at Casemiro to come onto the pitch, be the midfield destroyer, distribute, pass, keep, especially now when the other pieces next to him are not Kroos and Modric.
Yeah.
And
And once he wins the ball, give him like 3 or 4 options that he can actually pass to, not like Bruno and Mount up on the half.
Rashford's on the half shoulder, asking for him behind.
Dano's then gonna spread. Like you're making it hard for him there as well. But yeah, it was a bad result.
It was a bad performance, man. Yeah. Let alone the result. Like,
because even Man United fans were saying they could have played another 90 minutes and they still wouldn't have scored.
Yeah, a lot like all the United fans saying that like Crystal Palace didn't have to be good today to win at home. It's not how you want to start these stretches of home fixtures. Yeah. Where it's like teams don't have to be good. If Crystal Palace was good, they turned up today. Roy got it right, spot on. I was gonna say Zaha. Eze was nuts.
They ride their luck a bit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Hit the post, whatever. Calm. Those losses happen. That was to my point of how many losses are you gonna have in the season. There's always gonna be 1 or 2 of those games at home where like everything goes against you.
Yeah,
your guy misses a penalty. All of that kind of stuff, and you just have to chalk it up and be like, you know what, that's a loss.
Yeah.
But if you have 2 or 3 more of those in the season, and you still have the Man Cities to turn up and the Liverpools to turn up and that kind of stuff, it's like
then the numbers start.
You start getting to 10, 12 losses, and it's like you're not finishing anywhere near the top 4.
And where the worry would be is that they play Brentford this weekend. That's going to be a very similar game to the one they've just played against Palace. Thomas Frank's going to go there. He's going to play 5 at the back. He's going to set up in a very similar way. They're going to have guys who can hurt you on the counter in Wissa and Buemo, Jensen. But yeah, I think that was almost a sobering result.
It was just like, as we both said last week, you thought they were going to turn it around.
Yeah.
You beat Burnley. Now it's like, how
you were a bit more skeptical than I was, but you said it's going to be one of those where Eze has a chance or Mateta has a chance, and it doesn't fall their way. But yeah,
you start to wonder how long will it linger for, as you say. We've got Brentford, all eyes on that game.
Yeah,
again next week. Yeah. And even though you beat Brentford, or if you beat Brentford, it has to amount to 6 or 7 wins in a row for everybody to be like, okay, it was just a blip or poor start or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. You can't beat Brentford and then lose the next home game or the next away game.
Well, I think after Brentford, their next home game in the league is Man City.
That's crazy. You see what I'm saying?
So
this whole 1 step forward, 1 step backward stuff is cool for mid-table clubs.
Yeah.
It's cool for mid-table clubs.
For what Man United want to achieve, obviously
how loud they were talking before the season.
Yeah. They obviously thought that they were going to push on, and now some of them are saying, "Are we going to get top 4?" But moving on from that game, and obviously, I mentioned briefly that when they played Brighton, De Zerbi kind of schooled Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
But this weekend, and this is the beauty of the Premier League, it was De Zerbi's turn to get schooled. Unai Emery at Villa Park. Absolutely. Brighton started well, but after that, Emery just had his number.
The spacing behind for the Watkins and the
tactics
DRBs.
was spot on. We've spoken about DRB, had another good game.
Man.
But I think obviously Watkins scored the hat-trick, his second hat-trick of the season, so good for him. But I think Matty Cash and John McGinn are two players I want to look at. And I've always rated Matty Cash.
I've always rated John McGinn. Steady Eddies.
Yeah, and I think for that first goal, it's McGinn that slips Cash. Cash plays it to Watkins. I think Villa are just a very, very solid team.
They are. They're well coached.
To beat Brighton 6-1 is
no joke.
Yeah.
Look, Villa are well coached. They've got pacing behind. They've got people that can finish. They've got creativity. And Douglas Luiz as well, I think, is a terrific player. They've got quality in midfield. And obviously, they've still got some of their best defenders out injured.
Yeah.
So, and especially at Villa Park as well.
It's going to be a very tough place.
It's going to be a very tough place to go. So
the transition threat they have, they're bringing on Bailey.
It's so... Even Jacob Ramsey for legs, you know what I'm saying? And it was a great finish.
Yeah.
I think with Villa and Emery, I think, to be honest with you though, like Villa could get battered 4-0 away at Brighton when they meet, whenever that is. I think these two teams are actually so close in ascension, structure, like ability, ceiling type of stuff.
Yeah.
That it was one of those days where Watkins was like everything he touched went to goal. Like I agree that De Zerbi has this thing in his style of football where it's like if he concedes, he concedes. Like he doesn't close up. He doesn't start going long, start hoofing it out. Like he
and they came out for the second half, scored early, made it 3-1.
Yeah,
looked like there might have been a fight back.
I thought João Pedro had a good cameo.
Yeah, came on.
I thought he did well.
Estupiñán was horrible. Got hooked at half time.
Stinker.
Terrible game from him.
I think defensively that wing, Estupiñán is an alright defender.
Yeah.
But I think that was like Emery's Matoma's gonna switch off.
Yeah. And Emery knows him because Emery had him at Villarreal.
Yeah. Like Matoma's gonna switch off. We can get at Estupiñán. And as soon as that first goal went in, it was just like the floodgates opened. Now Brighton are going to have to go chasing the game. And as you say, the spacing behind for Villa, man. But it's not even like a lot of teams can give you spacing behind. Using that space, having the quality to use that space. Every time Villa went forward, they honestly looked like they could score. Yeah. Like they could put it in the back of their net. And I think that is what's going to make Villa Park dangerous. The fans are going to get behind it. Their fans, not even so quietly, expect a very good season from Villa. And they have a lot of players to come back into the team. So I think you should be afraid. I think with the De Zerbi thing as well, I do also think that it's so weird how I view these defeats differently for De Zerbi. For any other manager, I think that's a stupidly embarrassing defeat. And it kind of is for De Zerbi.
Yeah.
But he does have these every season.
Yeah.
Like he had the Everton stuff last year. And I think his style of football is as such that,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
They still haven't kept a clean sheet this season.
Yeah, they do concede.
Which 7 games in isn't a great start.
Yeah, they do concede.
But like you say, obviously that's his philosophy. That's his style of football. So he's gonna persist with it. He's gonna carry on. And to be fair, it's been good enough for Brighton so far.
Yeah, I think Brighton fans will probably still go, like next week, for example. I think Brighton have
Liverpool.
Liverpool next week on a Sunday, which makes it so sweet. And this is what I love about Barclays Premier League or football in general is like now we're 6 weeks in and this is 7 weeks in and it's proper underway because the narratives start to take place and teams start to get battered. And now you got Liverpool at home next week who also feel as if like I've got a monkey on my back, I need to get off, type of thing.
Done by.
And like that could be another 4-3 game. Could be like whatever's happening in that game, there's goals.
Yeah, there will be goals. But yeah, credit to Villa. Putting 6 past anyone is a feat, especially Brighton.
Yeah. I appreciate the cutthroatness as well. We're not going to stop.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. They scored in the 97th minute. Douglas Luiz.
Watkins could have had 4.
Yeah, he could have. But moving on from that game, Bournemouth versus Arsenal in the sunshine down on the south coast.
Great place.
Yeah, yeah. Still no wins for Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean business as it should be for Arsenal. I thought it might be a 3-0 before the game. There is always that, like, as an Arsenal fan, like, are we gonna like do something stupid and go 1-0 down, and like, but it's probably the best I've seen Arsenal play this season.
No, we were good, man.
Fluid football.
There was, like, from kickoff, there was just a sense and a feeling that, like, we have complete control of this game. Like, I didn't feel at all,
and that they wanted to put things right after the North London derby last week.
Exactly. I didn't feel at all that Bournemouth even had like a period on top. Maybe towards the end, from like 70th, like 80th minute,
after 3-0.
Yeah, but like, I just didn't feel as if Bournemouth, even they themselves, thought that they were going to get anything out of this game. And I love it, man. 4 different goal scorers.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting minutes. As you say, it's like, this is as good as you can get for a Barclays fixture on the weekend.
What did you make of Saka handing? I think there was a conversation. I think they were going to give it to Jesus.
Yeah.
And then Odegaard kind of has a conversation with him. What did you make of them giving it to Havertz?
I think it's like wonderful to see.
Yeah.
You know, the unity. We need to get Havertz going. It's as simple as that.
The celebrations after, like, as I say, it's like as wholesome and as perfect as it can get for a weekend. It always feels too good to be true, in a sense. I do, on a selfish side of things, obviously FPL wise, but just Saka wise, you know, he's giving up penalties. Yeah.
You know, these are like, you know, there's a lot of top level footballers that would never.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter who it is. You could be on a hat trick.
Yeah.
On your debut.
Yeah.
I'm taking this penalty.
It's like Salah
never
did it.
You know. So I on one hand, I'm like, I love it for the unity, I love it for the camaraderie, but then it's like, I want to see Saka finish with 20 goals, and I can look at everybody else and be like, what is your winger doing?
But I rate it, because if that means that, because the whole 007 thing,
it's a bit long. If it means Kai Havertz gets going, it's worth it.
Exactly. And even if it just means that it kind of lifts that weight, that
off
pressure a bit, see the fans singing his name at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, I like that he's done that.
It shows great even leadership from Odegaard, from his perspective, to maybe talk down Jesus, who obviously definitely wanted it.
Yeah.
I think
and from Jesus to be like, you know what,
to see it.
Yeah.
I think, as I said, like, it's crazy, the swings and roundabouts of football, because we haven't lost, because we've won this game, and then obviously City's lost, which we'll come on to. It's like, now we're in a great position, 1 point off top. You know, all of the stuff at Fulham and even Tottenham to a certain extent is kind of like in the past. From this point onwards, we just got to do the business.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's like, I think it just should give all Arsenal fans a bit of perspective of, like, 2 weekend results could change everything. About how you feel.
Because last week we were sat here, I think most people on any kind of football podcast or doing any sort of football content thought City were just gonna keep going, steamrolling. And obviously we know City, they can pick up a loss and then go on a mad win streak.
You definitely didn't circle Wolves,
but exactly. The fact that happened this weekend. On the Kai Havertz thing quickly though. I was obviously watching the game, and as I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, you know what, like, Kai Havertz's defensive IQ is actually,
it's top.
He's actually like he's picking up good positions, filling in next to Declan Rice. And it was funny because I messaged the Chelsea fan who we both have a similar sort of opinion on Havertz, where we agree that there is a player in there. And I messaged him and I was like, oh, Havertz's defensive IQ is actually pretty good. And he just replied and he was like, you're in that stage. which I couldn't stop laughing at. I was like, yeah, fair play.
I think the thing with Havertz is I think it's just so clear that he's not playing with any attacking confidence.
Yeah.
And obviously confidence is everything in football. Like, a lot of you know that already. So that's why I really like the penalties. If it gives him that attacking confidence, if it gets that monkey off his back, if there's less pressure on him the next time he's in front of goal because his account is already opened.
Yeah.
You should wrap it. You should bag it.
Exactly.
And I agree with your defensive.
And he's got a good record
stuff.
on pens.
He's got a great record on pens. And I agree with your defensive IQ. There was a couple of headers he was clearing away if I measure the box, and I was like, really?
Yeah. It was actually, and even Declan Rice came out in his interview afterwards and he was like, yeah, we all see how hard he works in training and stuff. And you can see that on the pitch. Like,
I think
there's been no point in this season where I've come away from a game and I thought
he's not trying.
Kai Havertz hasn't put a shift in there.
I think I think he'll always be an Arteta player, and I said this earlier about him just getting minutes this season because of his also versatility. Like even today, when the changes are made, when the subs are wrong, Eddie comes off, whoever else comes off, and it's like Havertz will move from left 8 to left wing to up.
He went up to striker,
and I think for that reason, alone, not alone, but of all the other reasons as well, is why Arteta's going to give him so many. Like he's a guy that Arteta, he puts in the work rate, and Arteta can trust him in multiple positions. So the final piece is literally
defending corners towards the end of a game,
even just going long. Sometimes I think the final piece is literally just getting him to a bit more output up top, which I'm not. I'm happy to wait on if it comes, because there will be a time where Havertz will be 3 and 2. And I'll be here to let everybody. I'll be here to let everybody. I just think, great weekend for Arsenal. One thing as well about Arsenal moving forward is like, I thought Eddie had a really good game.
Yeah, Eddie played well.
I just need to see Jesus in the number 9. Like there's just these electric moments when Jesus latches onto a ball that a defender sloppily pass back, or he takes a bad touch. And I think Jesus will do this against, like, no defender can ever take a rest. And he's the kind of striker, Jesus, where he needs chances. He's not going to be one chance, one goal.
And Jesus had a good game.
He had a good game as well himself.
A lot of problems.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a couple of chances at the end where he was played through. Like one he tried to dink the keeper, one of the other ones he like flashed it across the goal. And I'm like, I just need to see that more often. Because if he's a guy where I think, man, if we get going, like him and Havertz, Zinchenko and other players, is where the ceiling of this team is. And what do you think? Raya gets a start. It seems like he's just number 1 now, isn't it?
I think he's the number 1. I think he's the number 1. And he played some good passes. Obviously, another clean sheet for him. And one person I did want to mention, because they had a good 90 minutes midweek, came on for a little cameo at the end. Maybe should have scored, but had a good game. Emil Smith-Rowe. After what was it? Almost 500 days since his last start.
I think his time will come. I think he's feeling the pressure a little bit. He might need not.
But he's looking like the player that he was.
100%. We're gonna need everybody this year. Like we're playing again today. We're watching, guys warm up and all that kind of stuff. The Bournemouth game was not that long ago, and Kai Havertz is not going to play every game. Vieira is not going to play every game. We're going to need the Smith-Rowes. We're going to need the Reece Nelsons. Arsenal are just in a really good place, man. Not losing a game and just moving forward.
And on that, we'll talk about the Wolves Man City game, and we'll also do a small sort of preview for the weekend. But yeah, after Pep called Hwang that Korean guy in his press conference, Pedro Neto, Mateus Cunha, and that Korean guy, Hwang stepped up, scored the winner, pointed to the name on the back of his shirt after he scored.
Do you know who I am?
And it's good for Gary O'Neill. Great win for Wolves. Because they've had some good performances this season and they've been unlucky. Like at Old Trafford on the first day, they got unlucky. When they played Liverpool, if Mateus Cunha scores that header, it's 2-0 up. So yeah, I'm happy for Gary O'Neill and Pedro Neto, man.
It's serious. He's got to go somewhere. If he can stay fit, touch wood.
I genuinely forgot just how fast he was.
You think
he was leaving Ake for dead?
And this is Ake. Ake's no slouch. It's not even the pace that he runs at. Like he's also pretty powerful. Like you will just bounce off him, or he'll bounce off you and stay on his feet. And keep it moving.
And it's controlled as well.
I think shout out to Wolves, man. It's always good seeing teams lower down the table not take these games as free hits. And I'm still gonna put it on you. I still want to win this game.
Because they asked Gary O'Neill that exact. They were like, "Oh, is this a bit of a free hit?" And he was like, "No, there are no free hits in the Premier League. Like we're at home. Man City are coming to us. We're going to try and make it hostile, try and make it difficult." And that's exactly what they did.
I appreciate that so much, because this is how things happen. Maybe Man City are off the ball a little bit. They're looking at the game next weekend thinking, this is already wrapped up. Wolves. And it's just what you want to be seeing. So
it's a sign that they're human.
And also the Rodri thing.
Life without Rodri. Lost midweek against Newcastle.
Calvin Phillips.
And then Calvin Phillips got taken out of the team for the Wolves game.
For as good as he is on the ball, and we know how great he can be on the ball, I mean, we always know Rodri's great, but you've always kind of known of his presence as well. But I don't know, just seeing, it's only been 2 games, but just seeing how things shape up without him,
Because the goal threat that we've spoken a lot about that Rodri has now provided this season,
yeah, kind of overtaking
in terms of assists, to be missing that as well. Yeah, man. And obviously Arsenal go down, or no, Man City come to the Emirates on the weekend, sorry. And yeah, how do you see that game going?
I don't really know what to say about this game. There's so much to say about this game. In terms of, I feel like this is our chance, if we ever had a chance, to beat Man City. This is it. Rodri's out. We're at home. We're in good form. We're unbeaten. No KDB. Like also the mental barrier. I don't think we can actually go on and win the league if we don't pick up these points here. Yeah. However, with all of that being said, I'm still pretty like I'm not going in. I'm still pretty scared of Man City.
100%.
And like part of me would still buy your hand off for a draw.
Yeah.
Because I just think a loss will be so damaging mentally, more so than it will be points wise.
Yeah.
If they beat us with this team, with a depleted, like when we play them away from home and KDB's back and Rodri's back in form, and you know, it's just gonna be like that mental defeat already before we've kicked off. So for everything that is gonna happen on the weekend, it's just the biggest must not lose mentality for the season.
It is the biggest game.
Yeah.
Because like you say, if we lose, it's 100% it's going to take a toll mentally, losing at home to the direct title rivals
depleted
again.
Yeah.
Like you say, without certain players. Great news that Thomas Partey's back in training.
That was
big,
literally the question I was going to ask you, because at first I saw him.
He comes straight back into the team.
Is that what you think?
Comes straight back into.
Is that what you think? I'm on like,
and I think Thomas Partey's a guy who can come back in and play well.
That's the thing. Is because of we've not really been a great, like, I don't think we've been as best as like our best of the season so far.
Yeah.
Obviously Partey's been out for a lot of that. But I just don't know if Arteta will throw him into the fire match week, like unless he's 100% fit.
Yeah.
What I do think, or what I do want, is I want to see Odegaard, Rice, Partey finish the game.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I definitely want to see the Havertz for Partey sub at some point in the 70th minute or whatever. And then we just see 2 6s.
Yeah.
But, you know,
just trying to hold out the game.
Man City can keep the ball as much as they want, even. Yeah. But centrally, you're not getting through us.
Yeah. And I think that if we do start with Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, whatever 3 that Pep picks to play in there, whether it's between Phillips, Nunez, Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, if we've got Rice, Partey, and Odegaard, I think they could struggle. And the other thing I think we might see Havertz play up top, like we did in the Community Shield, and I think we might see Jesus play from the left again.
Think?
And especially if Martinelli's not fit,
and what, just overload the midfield.
Yeah, and because then I think rather than playing Trossard, you maybe get Jesus, who's more of a threat in the transition. Yeah. When we do get the ball back, maybe a bit more direct. Havertz also gives us the option to go long, which we used quite a bit in the Community Shield. So I think Arteta might do that. And again, speaks to the point that you've made quite a few times on this podcast, the unpredictability, right? We don't know what team's going to start.
That's exactly what Arteta wants, is that unpredictability factor. I think in not as much passion, but do you remember that clip of Pep Guardiola when he's speaking about Liverpool and he's like, how the hell are we going to stop these guys? Yeah, you know, they have Mane, they have Salah. You know, I think
Firmino comes in.
Yeah, I think I think Pep has a little bit of that dilemma for this weekend, in the sense of Partey's back now. Is he going to come in?
Yeah.
Who's he going to play in midfield?
Is Havertz going to play at all?
You see what I'm saying? Is he
going to play Jesus through the middle?
This is what makes me miss Martinelli, because I still think
will Tomiyasu come in at left back to maybe negate what Zinchenko can't do defensively.
Raya Ramsdale, we think it's going to be Raya, 80% sure. But
now that Partey's fit, is Gabriel going to come out of the team and Partey play right back?
There's a lot of dilemmas that Pep is going to run through, and obviously the whole "I know Mikel so well" type of thing. Like, does he know exactly what Mikel's going to do? So for that exact reason, Mikel's going to do something else. And is that going to play on Pep's mind? Does he also know that Mikel's going to be unpredictable?
Yeah.
Because, you know, so I feel like on a small level, he's going to be looking at like how. What I do know for sure is that Kanji and Ake start that game.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
100%.
and I was gonna say, I think we really not to cast
Walker.
Yeah, not to cast any doubts. I think we really miss Martinelli for the simple fact that he is that, as you mentioned, in transition, he's that wild card factor. He will take Ake on or whoever one-on-one.
He will get it and just run at you.
And just look to rip him. But the game can't be understated. Just the fact that we could leapfrog them. I mean, can you imagine how big it would be to leapfrog Man City and then have a 2-week international break and then come back to Chelsea?
Yeah.
You know, the party fully fit, all this kind of stuff. The confidence, maybe Martinelli would be back by then. The confidence that we would breed into the team for the rest of the season. It would just be massive. It would be massive. Yeah, you can't even physically describe.
And the thing is, did you watch? I don't know if you watched the FCM this week.
No.
But they did like a preview for the game, and they asked the guys who they thought would win, and they asked Fuad, who's obviously a Tottenham fan, and Fuad straight away was like, Man City will win, they'll bounce back, they'll come back. But then one of them goes, it's at the Emirates, and Fuad's just like, it's at the Emirates.
Yeah. That's how you know.
He's like, ooh, and then he changes it to a draw. So it's good to see that, like,
there's respect.
People feel like even Man City coming to the Emirates, and again, I agree with him. I think it's a massive. If we were going to the Etihad, I definitely wouldn't be saying, there's a chance here or whatever. But yeah, because it's at the Emirates and the player, like you say, the players they're missing.
It's so big. Next week's podcast, you better be here because we'll either be crying in front of the camera or it's like.
I mean, we haven't done a podcast yet, unfortunately, for fans of other clubs where Arsenal have lost. So touch wood, we don't jinx that.
Definitely.
And be here next week to see us, like you say, either absolutely elated or
crestfallen
in tears.
Yeah, there's only
either way, it'll be entertaining.
100%.
But moving on from that to the Saturday evening game, and I think that there's only one place we can start here, and that's with the VAR decisions in the Tottenham-Liverpool game. The Luis Diaz. And firstly, I just want to start by saying, if that was Arsenal, I would be absolutely furious.
I want to start by saying, I think all of the talk around this is so fascinating because I agree with you. If it was Arsenal, I'd be furious. We've been there, Brentford last year, a couple of other decisions.
But I just think this is the worst one.
I think this is so...
This is the worst one.
Part of me is furious on behalf of Liverpool and Liverpool fans. Like, I would be bouncing off the wall. You know, you 10 men down to go 1-0 up right before half time, and for human error and VAR, and even how it's been handled since. You make a mistake, not calm, but you've made a mistake, and to like be coy about it. Everybody keeps saying that VAR have released an apology. They haven't released an apology. They just admitted that they made a mistake. They never said sorry to anybody. Sorry doesn't help anything or anyone. My overall point on this stuff is, I don't think at all referees, PGMOL or whoever should be given grace or this or that. Like, this is amateur hour stuff. The Barclays Premier League is meant to be the best league in the world. It's sports at the highest level. There's one thing I'm always interested in: sports at the highest level. So the thing about sports at the highest level is everything's at the highest level. It's the best fitness coaches. It's the best trainers. It's the best facilities. It's the best everything.
It's the best managers. It's the best players.
See what I'm saying? So why should there be an excuse to have amateur hour referees, amateur hour stuff, when everything else is at that 1%? That's 0.01%. In this game, in this league, in this sport, it's all about fine margins, and we can live and die if players make mistakes. You know, Matip scoring the own goal is calm. You know, bad mistake on Matip's part, but it's calm if that's the only sort of bad or egregious error that happens in the game, because that's really what we want. We want a cauldron where it's so pressurized that the best football players in the world, even the best football players in the world, make mistakes. And now we're in situations where the pressure is so much that referees and, you know, I think it's like for 3 people to make a mistake, the on-field referee to make a mistake, the VAR to make a mistake, the system VAR to make a mistake. Like, for 3 people at that level to make a mistake and be coy about it, and like, I think that is like, it's ridiculous. And I think anybody
it's such a big game as well.
I think anybody trying to sympathize on that side, you got to be kind to them, they're only humans, they're only this, they're only that. Like, if it was anybody else, like, who deserves to be like to give vitriol online. No one deserves that. But if a player misses a chance from 5 yards, you say it's, this is what you sign up for. This is what you get paid the big money for, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not here to.
And I think we've done a pretty good job on this podcast so far of not really talking about VAR. And because obviously the conversations about it, like you hear the pundits go on and on about it. Like I don't think people who are listening to this want to hear us talk about VAR, but this is just crazy.
This is so
ridiculous.
It's
like
so
it has to be mentioned. Liverpool have probably they have lost their unbeaten record because of that. Because that puts them 1-0 up, completely different game. And
as Klopp says, man.
not that it will happen, but Liverpool have lost the title before on one point. And who knows what could happen in that game.
It's the ramifications of that are so tough to quantify, just because, as you say, Liverpool could have still gone on to lose the game, but as we say, we're not talking about sporting integrity. It's just that Liverpool lost the game. And I think nobody, not even myself, as much as I find this stuff so fascinating, really wants to call into question the Premier League sporting integrity or PGMOL sporting integrity, because we have to all believe in the thinly veiled line that this is true. As we say, sports at the highest level. That all of this stuff is happening as is, live and direct type of stuff. And I just really wonder what Howard Webb and guys are going to do to try and rebuild trust with the fans. Or, I don't think that the mentality should be, we don't talk about it for a while, it's swept under the rug, move forward. I understand they're not going to replay the game. I understand they're not going to give Tottenham or Liverpool points or whatever it's going to be. But I do think that there has to be more accountability on the side of PGMOL, or at least, fugazi public accountability of like, hey, we've spoken to Darren. He's not going to be around for the rest of the season. I don't think taking him off 2 games and having him back for, whatever it would be, Arsenal, Liverpool, 3 weeks time from now is the answer. I agree with you. I think on all the other stuff in the game, I think the red card, real time, I didn't think it was a red card.
The Curtis Jones
one. Real time, I didn't think it was a red card, but I can kind of live with that decision.
Yeah, I'm okay with that being a red card.
Yeah, I still don't think that VAR should
they only show the ref the image.
But
like you say, I'm a similar one where I'm like, I don't know if it is, but I can see why it's been changed. He's gone over the ball. Casemiro had a similar one last year. The Jota one, I don't think either of those are fouls.
I think
Udogi's clipped himself and gone over on the first one, and the second one is stupid from Jota. He shouldn't even make that challenge. But I don't actually think he's touched him.
I think on the Jota one as well, I don't think the first one is a yellow card at all, but it's kind of like the Tomiyasu red card. That's kind of how I see it, where it's like the ref has made 2 soft decisions, and hence the player goes off. And even that I can live with, because ultimately there are always going to be those decisions in football where refs, you think it's soft, but somebody else, that's the beauty of it type of thing. But process decisions, getting black and white process decisions being done wrong. And I think I was listening to a podcast, and it's like VAR isn't a thing. VAR is just a tool given to referees.
The problem's not with VAR.
But
with the people operating.
But even just that, like, if you really think about what VAR is, if you really boil it down, it's just like, it's a tool. Not even it is a tool. Referees have multiple different angles to get contentious decisions correct. That's what VAR is. So for VAR to somehow highlight how crazy refereeing decisions are, when it was brought in to do the exact opposite, I think it's so ridiculous.
It's meant to have like a 99% accuracy or whatever.
Like that whole Frank Lampard goal, no goal. That was what VAR was brought in. You have multiple angles. Multiple people can see this decision. Hey, we got to get to the right decision. So for VAR just to be several different cameras, high quality, high HD cameras that other referees can use and communicate with each other through, and still get to decisions like we got to on Saturday. If we're gonna have amateur hour referees or whatever it's gonna be, then we should stop saying this is the epitome of sports. This is the epitome of all of this kind of stuff. There's no difference. You might as well,
because how many times do we watch, I don't know, maybe another league or an international tournament, and just think, these referees are actually quite good.
But what do you think about the game in terms of from a Tottenham perspective? What this game showed me from a Tottenham perspective was like two sides of the coin. One, fair play to Tottenham for not losing Arsenal, Liverpool, United, not losing any of those games. But two, I believe in the Ange ball, but I don't believe in the hype, because Tottenham should be seeing that game off pretty easly, and it shouldn't be as hard as it was.
They struggled a lot and they needed a Liverpool player to put the ball in his own net to get the 3 points. After playing against 9 men, Alisson made some great saves.
Alisson is top.
Yeah, brilliant from him. Gakpo had a good goal. Turned on it nicely, put it in.
Obviously, the goal was disallowed, but the finish from
Luis Diaz, yeah.
Oh my days! Oh my days!
You know what I think of Luis Diaz, man?
Yeah, no, Luis Diaz is super, super, super serious, man. And even Salah, like, he's just on it. Even though the ball
and Liverpool, until Curtis Jones got sent off, I think Liverpool were quite clearly the better team.
Yeah, they're gonna be there, man.
But yeah, like you say, credit to Tottenham. They're still unbeaten.
So big credit to that.
7 games in, obviously, with a new manager. A lot of people thought Tottenham would finish 8th or 9th, or predicted them to finish quite low.
And they're playing way better football than they've played for years.
And the one thing, and we said this last week after the North London derby with Ange, is that he's shown the Tottenham fans that no matter who they play, he's going to play his style of football. And he's not going to compromise anything on that. He's going to play his way and try and go out there and do. But I'm with you in that I'm not really believing the hype, because I think they could go to Luton this weekend and lose or drop points, or like
they're still kind of conceding goals. You know, even when it was 10 men, like the how easy it was for Liverpool to get on the break. Yeah, you know, if Salah had another player up there with him, it would be proper danger for Tottenham. So I think I'm happy for them in a certain way of, like, obviously I thought Tottenham were going to be 12th, 10th.
Yeah.
So they've surpassed expectations for the simple fact that they're going to finish in a very good position in the league this year. But they're year one of their process. Ange needs about 3 or 4 windows to ever get a squad good enough to challenge for the title. Yeah. And I'm not trying to hear anything from fans or pundits or whoever about Tottenham being title challengers. Like, it's gonna fade. And we do this every year. Do you remember I was sending you those tweets, Conte, this time last year, I think we're building something. Jose, I think this feels special. You know,
everyone was telling us how much of a problem Conte is gonna be for all the other teams in the league. But I mean, Spurs fans are getting to see good football again. On their first goal, it's a brilliant pass from Madison.
Udogi's nice though as well. He's I don't know how to describe it. He's got a little bit of bozo in him, but he's got the PMP to keep up with top winners. You know,
Salah had him on the yellow card though. Obviously, if 11 against 11, obviously it's if buts and maybes, but I think maybe that's a bit different. But he's only 20 years old, so his first season in the Premier League, you expect him to make mistakes.
He's faced some tough wingers. And he's come out without a loss.
To face Saka and Salah in back-to-back weeks and come out fairly all right. Well done to him. But we'll move on from that game, and we'll quickly talk about the rest of the games. I think one that maybe needs a bit more time than the others is Luton picked up their first win of the season away at Goodison Park. I mean,
Everton in trouble.
We never thought that Luton's first win would be away from home.
That's what I'm saying about my FPL. When I go back in time, if I could go back to me staying up late nights trying to figure out who it was going to be, there were so many reasons to choose Tarkowski. Luton, are they really going to score a goal? Are they really going to get their first win away from home? Who is it going to be? So big ups to Luton.
7 weeks in a row, Pickford's let me down now.
And now it makes me double down, and I think surely Sean Dyche says
reaction.
You know, and then it's Solanke, you know.
But Carlton Morris could have had a hat trick. He played well. He influenced for the first goal as well.
I actually don't really know. I do, but I don't know what Everton's problem is. They defend poorly and they don't score goals. But
they conceded from 2 set pieces, which
the second one was
for a Sean Dyche team at home, it's inexcusable. When you're down there at the bottom, especially when you're playing against a relegation rival at home.
The second goal,
you can't give up. The second goal is so cheap.
Morris he doesn't even need to head. He has time to wait for the ball to hit his foot. free as a bird
Line
at the
it
back. He's the
up.
number
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
Like, who's not on the number 9?
He's the biggest threat.
Who's not on the number 9 for that type of short free kick? Who's not saying, yo, who's Mark Pickford? Somebody,
Yeah.
There's men over at the back post. You're at home, all of this kind of stuff.
And after going away to Brentford last week, and we sung their praises, great result, bounced back, going there, scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
To have this performance is just...
It's crazy.
It's so bad. And it epitomizes that Everton will have another season where they're just going to be fighting it for their lives down there.
I saw something crazy about Everton being like the only team to not win a promotion or win a trophy since like 18 or, since the dawn of time. So this is just what Everton fans are now like. We either finish, and it went from finishing between 10th and 15th to now like, 16th and 18th. If we,
and the thing is, it's okay to make it difficult for Arsenal and Man City and Liverpool when they come to Goodison, but you have to beat. Like Luton, you have to beat those teams.
If Sean Dyche wasn't ringing home clean sheets, like if we get clean sheets in these games, regardless, like DCL will get 1, the Corey might get 1. We'll trust a little bit of the quality that we have up top, but we have to be rigid. We have to be solid. We can't be giving up chances, let alone 2 goals away from home with more chances. And I thought as well, they got to go back fairly early into the game and to not put it on Luton like that. The Everton should be finishing that match with like 14 shots, 8 on targets, type of thing.
And that they had chances, and again they just couldn't take them. But Calvert-Lewin scored again.
For them that might as well be a trophy.
So big up to him. But yeah, big fixture now, even bigger fixture for Everton next week when they play Bournemouth. Moving on from that game, Newcastle played Burnley. Another clean sheet for Burnley. Almiron scored a great goal, cracker. Buried it in the top corner.
Trippier, assist clean sheet.
Yeah. And the same old story for Burnley, man. They had a couple chances in that game.
Yeah, they did.
They played some decent stuff.
They did.
If you're not going to take those chances, you're always going to be punished.
Yeah. A company, something has got to give. You've got to find a man who's going to put the ball in the back of the net with some sort of regularity.
I just don't think he has that.
But because that's the problem with, I think, Burnley versus like Sheffield have Foster, whatever you think of him.
McBurney.
Like at least guys that have scored or provided a threat so far this season. Obviously, Luton have Morris.
Yeah.
Bournemouth have Solanke and Billing and Christie, guys who can score. So who is actually going to be the guy for Burnley? Yeah, near miss is hitting the posts. Yeah, I mean that happens. That's unlucky.
Yeah,
but like find somebody in that group that you have who's gonna put the ball in the back of the net, because unless you find that one person and bank on them, you'll never get anywhere, man.
And Luton and Burnley are actually playing right now. In what is the second game of that game week.
I've had a sting. You literally have double the amount of points I have.
0-0 at the moment in that game. But yeah, moving on from that game, good 3 points for Newcastle. They play PSG tomorrow.
Yeah, can't win.
At St. James's Park. I think Newcastle are going to win that game.
You think they're going to win?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere is going to be top.
Screams 2-2.
PSG, was it no wins?
They haven't won. They haven't won in a while. I think it'll be an interesting game. But yeah, moving on, West Ham, Shef U. West Ham doing what they need to do. 2-0, another clean sheet. Bowen is back. I thought
that was a great goal. You see the link-up play, to Alvarez into Souček, Sofa with the cross.
Yeah.
West Ham are doing well, man.
I thought that Mohamed Kudus guy played very well, man. Yeah. He looks like a very good number 8.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous, to be honest with you. Because I think West Ham are, they actually look consistent in the sense that they put away the teams that they should put away, and they don't actually lose, or they don't lose badly to the teams that you think that maybe they should lose to.
Yeah.
So you better watch out.
Yeah.
If you're United and you're struggling for 8th or 9th place.
We spoke about Villa Park earlier. Going to West Ham is going to be another tough one.
You got them in the cup.
Yeah. But okay, considering they're playing Europa League and obviously Premier League fixtures, and then I'm hoping they
do they have
do
they have the squad?
But yeah, another good win for West Ham. Shef U again, not taking chances. Like they don't create a lot, but what they do create, and when they do have a clear cut opening, they're just not taking it.
Don't take it.
Which is only going to spell more problems for them.
I think Shef U's manager is going to be the first to go.
Yeah, because the amount of time the West Ham players had on the ball, like it just looks like those Shef U players just aren't working hard enough, and that was evident last week.
That's actually no excuse.
This
early in the season.
because you never really want to level that at a player. Because you like to believe that when any player steps out onto the pitch, they're going to give 100%.
Yeah,
but it's really not looking like that.
Yeah, and that's why the manager.
Yeah, exactly,
else.
And that's why I agree with you on that. Moving on from that game to Sunday's game, Forest played Brentford. I couldn't believe that Brentford didn't get a pen. Wissa takes it off Matt, and Matt Turner's just cleaned him out.
You know, I think Wissa's actually more at fault because he should milk the hell out of that.
Yeah, he doesn't really.
He just gets up and obviously he thinks he can score. You know, fair enough, fair play to him. But
then even on the VAR, it's just they managed to get away with them. One thing I can clearly notice, having watched Brentford for seven games now, or whatever, is that the opportunities fall to players in that Brentford team and they're not being taken. You can see they clearly miss Ivan
Toney.
Obviously we knew it was going to be a big miss, but it's so evident when you watch Brentford. Like Wissa had a chance that went straight past him, literally gets anything on that and it's a goal.
I feel like that's Wissa every game. But I feel you.
But yeah, and
I want to shout out though. I want to shout out Norgard.
Yeah, go on.
I want to shout out Norgard and Jensen just for being Norgard and Jensen.
Yeah.
As we say, Tony's out. They're not really GA men, but they're
stepping up.
Yeah, it's like they've heard the call and they're here to do it.
Yeah. And Forest, after going down to 10 men, came back and equalised a great header. But yeah, I think
the keeper should do better though.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I think it's just one of them where
there's no way the ball should be looping over his head like that. From where the guy's headed it from, there's no way.
If the guy heads it in any other way, it doesn't go in.
And I've had my question marks on Flecken.
Yeah.
After who was it they played last week or the week before?
I think
Crystal Palace. It was Crystal Palace, and they were 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And it was like in the last minutes. It's like, how does that go through? Sort it out. Sort it out.
He's not looked great so far. But even the other end, Matt Turner, I think Matt Turner might get dropped soon.
You think?
Because even on Norgard's goal,
yeah. You know the thing about Matt Turner is it's so obvious he's never ever ever at all been asked to play football with his feet. His whole job when it comes to feet stuff is just kick on.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not that Nottingham Forest play out the back football, but there's moments when you're just like, oh, he just doesn't want it. He just doesn't want it here.
He doesn't want it.
Oh my.
Yeah, big Tomiyasu.
Come on,
but yeah, moving on from that last game of the weekend, the West London derby on Monday night, Fulham Chelsea. Chelsea winning 2-0. Important result for them. They needed to pick up a win.
They did.
And I think they scored 2 in 2 minutes. Fulham made it easy for them.
Tim Ream and Diop, I just can't believe it.
Even Diop on the first goal.
I think Diop on the first goal is bad. Yeah, you have to get to the ball, but
it's a good pass by Colwill. But
I think Tim Ream,
shocking.
You've just seen Diop make a mistake.
Just gone 1-0 down.
You've just gone 1-0 down. This is a very winnable game.
Yeah.
Just go long, get rid.
Yeah,
and he's trying it's just ludicrous to.
Fulham were poor all game, even after they went 2-0 down. They didn't ever really look like scoring.
I want to apologize to everybody for saying Vinicius 1-0. I forgot who Vinicius was.
Yeah,
the chance, it's not like he had a clear cut chance, but every chance he had, you thought, really?
Yeah, he's not going to score here.
You can do better than that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the ball comes across and it's like, yeah, it's a tough header because he has to generate all the power and he has to find the accuracy, but a striker of his quality, his height, you think you work on that every day. Straight to the keeper,
Yeah. But on Chelsea, Mudryk got his first goal.
Yeah, and then came off.
Yeah.
But he
I was happy for him though.
I was. I actually see it, like in this. Why are you looking at me like that?
But I want to know exactly what you see.
I see
the Hazard comparisons.
No. I see the diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
But I see, like, you know, okay, when I say I see it, I see him beat a man and whip it across. You know, and obviously he's taking his finish nicely. I do agree with the Frank thing I think they're putting it to Frank of like how many of these guys just need to get, 10, 12 games. I do kind of see that with Mudryk. He's been poor. Yeah. He's been very, 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 very poor. Yeah. But I see the lightning pace, and you always think if a player is that quick,
exactly.
You know, if a player is that quick, you just need a little bit of composure.
Yeah.
And
I was just about to say when a player is as electric as he is, I always find it easier to say give him a bit more time. Give him a bit more time. Whereas like, and obviously we don't want to shit on him. We know he's going through whatever he's going through, but the reason why I always had less time with a guy like Jadon Sancho,
if you can't be on
is
that,
because he doesn't have that pace. Yeah. I can't see him just getting that pace and being able to then go past the man. And like at the very least with Mudryk, you know, at any point if he's isolated with a defender,
he's gonna rip him.
Yeah, or the defender might clean him out, whatever. But there could be one chance where if Mudryk knocks it past him, he's gonna rip him.
Also, the threat, because Mudryk beat whoever it was early in the game, and like the threat that gives to the fullback and centre back of like, I've got to watch out because Enzo could drop it over the top, and Mudryk could be on the half shoulder, and that also isn't a threat that Sancho has in his locker. It's like, for you to be the technical guy, and this isn't the Sancho shit session because he's not even played football, so there's no point. But if you're gonna be a technical guy, it's like you have to be so Bernardo Silva-esque technique, to get away with
in the Premier League.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a technical, not slow, but not like rapid winger in the Prem, you need to be on a Riyad Mahrez kind of level.
Yeah, and that's why I say I can kind of see it with Mudryk in the sense of, he can beat his man for sure with pace. And so if a manager like Poch or whoever else it could be can work with him on what ball to put in, how to put that ball in, how to, timings of cutting in and shooting, that kind of stuff. You have a guy that can maybe get you 6 goals.
Yeah. So he's not Eden Hazard. But no, well done to Mudryk.
Yeah,
he's been getting clowned a lot.
Clean sheet for Chelsea as well. That's why I got rid of Colwill. Yeah, but clean sheet for Chelsea. So big up to them. Roberto Sanchez. Lastly on him.
Yeah.
I always have this conversation with my brother, and this also again isn't an Onana Bass session, but I look at like just transfer business and that kind of stuff, and it was like Sanchez and Raya were available for roughly the same price, 25 to 27 mil. Prem proven, good with their feet, decent shot stoppers. Are you telling me Sanchez is better than Onana? I'm just leaving that there. I'm not saying anything other than he was half the price.
Okay, fair. Just spitting facts.
Yeah. Just leaving it at that, man.
But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for today. Thank you guys for listening. Apologies for the slightly shorter episode.
Yeah.
But next week, after some big fixtures over the weekend, we'll be back in detail. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and peace.
Safe everyone. I apologize for the coughing. I'm sick as hell. Well, no, I'm getting there anyway.